live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A very good evening and welcome to the National News Broadcast. I am Malsha Dharmavardhana.
A very good evening indeed. I am Charita Minipurarache, and let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news. The President says that he is strongly confident that he will be able to build up Sri Lanka as the young generation expects. The injunction order against Maithripala Sirisena extended. IMF extends support to discussions between the government and the international bondholders. New visa system targeting the tourism industry has been initiated. Funeral of late Palitha Thevarapperuma will be held tomorrow. Large crowds are gathering to his residence to pay their last respect. An SJP electoral organizer joins the UNP. President congratulates Chamariyatapattu for her outstanding performance. Badminton player Wickremesinghe is qualified for Paris Olympics. On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with the top story. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, stands ready to support Sri Lanka's discussions with international bondholders. An IMF spokesperson said today that IMF will provide a formal assessment after the parties reach a tentative agreement in principle. Reuters reported that an IMF spokesperson said that they hope to an agreement consistent with the parameters of the IMF-supported program, and official creditors' comparability or treatment requirements can be reached soon ahead of completing the second review under the program. IMF encourages both parties to continue their discussions swiftly. Sri Lanka will consult the IMF to assess if it's the latest proposal discussed with the bondholders were within the parameters of its bailout program.
Now, the Japan says that they extend their support to finalize Sri Lanka's debt restructuring without delay. Deputy Finance State Minister of Japan, Fuji Diajo, stressed this matter at a discussion with the State Minister Shehan Semesinghe recently. This discussion was held in the sidelines of the IMF and the World Bank spring meeting. The strong friendship and the connection between Japan and Sri Lanka were reiterated at this meeting. State Minister Semesinghe said that the Japan commended the Sri Lanka's unique economic progress gained at the present. Especially as a chairperson of the Official Creditors Committee, Japan extended its continuous support to Sri Lanka. They also discussed the progress of debt restructuring in Sri Lanka. State Minister Shehan Semesinghe further said that Japan is committed to complete the process as soon as possible. Meanwhile, the State Minister also met the World Bank Regional Vice Chairman Rakodo Politi. They also held talks on the progress of the Sri Lanka's economy and the restructuring of the state enterprises. The World Bank's International Financial Co-Institute will support the stability of the country's financial sector and to encourage investors of the more investments. He added that his institute hopes to work cooperatively with Sri Lanka.
The Columbo District Court has extended the injunction order issued against former President Maithripala Sirisena, preventing him acting as the chairman of SLFP up to the 9th of May. The District Court extended this order when a complaint filed by patron of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga, was summoned today. The District Court has issued this injunction order to prevent him further acting as the SLFP chairman and to prevent empowering the decision taken by him. A media briefing to further clarify on these matters were held at the SLFP headquarters today. Parliamentarian Dominda Disanayake said that the SLFP members noticed that Maithripala Sirisena attempted to destroy the peace and harmony within the party during the past period. He had taken many arbitrary decisions. The party has now opened the avenues for the party activists who were subjected to discrimination to come back to the party.
ජනාධිපති ගත්ත තීරණත් එක්ක අසාධාරණ ලක් වෙච්ච ඒ සියලු දෙනාටම අපි දොර විවෘත කරලා තියෙනවා. එතුමාට අධිකරණය
Minister Mahinda Amaravira said that before the court order against him, people had imposed a restriction on him. Maithripala Sirisena could not achieve any grassroots level activity during the past period. He couldn't even form a branch even in a village. The court has now prevented him taking wrong decisions as his LFP leader, and he had even appointed unqualified persons as electoral organisers during the past period. And meanwhile, the Department of Immigration and Immigration has introduced a new visa system targeting the tourism industry.
The new visa system is operational from the 16th of this month. Under the new system, foreign tourists are able to extend their visa in a very short time. The aim of this new move is to retain foreigners for a long time in the country and to make Sri Lanka a long-term destination. Controller General of Immigration and Immigration said that under the new system, visa period can be extended up to 6,090 and 180 days. At times, visa can be extended up to 5 or 10 years as well. If a tourist obtains 10 years visa, he can travel to Sri Lanka at any time and stay here as per his or her wish.
The last auspicious time of the New Year Nakath Sea Tour. Auspicious time for tree planting fall today at 10:16 am. It was appropriate to plant a sapling facing the east direction clad in golden color attire. The tree planting national ceremony was held at the Agricultural Ministry premises today under the patronage of Minister Mahinda Amaravira. Minister Mahinda Amaravira said that the Export Agriculture Department has initiated a program to plant 1.5 million Ariyaratnas saplings. In addition, 1.3 million tea saplings will be cultivated under the Tea Small Holdings Development Authority. The Agrarian Development Department has taken measures to start 100,000 home gardens. Further, Agricultural Department will set up 30,000 home gardens. The Coconut Cultivation Board will distribute 50,000 coconut saplings to be planted island-wide. So far, there was no review for the coconut planting projects. However, from now onwards, the ministry will look into the development and growth of coconut saplings planted. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena planted a Nelly sapling at the auspicious time in the Temple Trees premises. Prime Minister's Secretary Anuradha Disanayake, Parliamentarian Yadamini Gunawardena and several others were present at this occasion. A program to popularize a morning plant as a herbal food was launched today in line with the tree planting auspicious time. It was launched at the Gangarama Temple premises in Honopitia. The Ministry of Indigenous Medicine has implemented this program. State Minister Sisira Jayakodi and several others were present at this occasion. State Minister Sisira Jayakodi said that the Ministry of Indigenous Medicine has declared the tree planting day as the National Moringa Day. And meanwhile, President Ranil Wickremesinghe expressed his firm conviction in his ability to shape the Sri Lankas that the nation's youth envision, addressing a gathering of youth members of parliament and emerging political figures from the Nuwara district at the Nuwara Presidential Palace today. President Wickremesinghe reiterated his commitment to fostering the region's development into a premier tourist destination. Despite criticisms levelled against the government's initiatives for Nuwara advancement, the President asserted that with widespread support, such efforts could catalyse a transformative shift in the nation's economic landscape. Furthermore, the President Wickremesinghe cautioned against the pitfalls of antiquated political strategies, emphasising the imperative of concrete efforts to attract essential investments for national development. He highlighted that the People's Jubilee and celebration of the Sinhala and Tamil New Year under the government's sound economic policies, noting a marked increase in people's livelihood across various sectors. His overreaching goal, he stated, was to ensure that these benefits reached every segment of the society. The young parliamentarians appraised the President of the challenges they encounter and presented their proposals pertaining to the nation's development agenda. In a bid to empower the youth demographic, the President outlined plans to establish regional youth centres in each divisional secretariat division. He pledged to nurture budding entrepreneurs through these centres with intention to engage bank executives and trade board members in the process.
Iranian authorities said they rescued 21 Sri Lankan crew members in the Cook Island flags tanker sinking in the Gulf of Oman, the state news agency in Iranian reported today. The unarmed tanker suffered damage about 50 kilometers off the coast of Chask in the Iranian due to a storm, the news reporters said. 5 of them were in good physical condition, the report added. It did not say when the rescue took place, and the storms have hit the sea off the Oman and the Strait of Hormuz, a key energy transport corridor where located on the eastern trip, the report said. UAE and Bahrain have reported flooding from heavy rainstorms over the past few weeks. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in coordination with Sri Lanka mission in Myanmar and Thailand, successfully facilitated the repatriation of 8 Sri Lankans who were trafficking for forced criminal activities in cyber scamming compounds in Myanmar. Myanmar law enforcement authorities rescued these 8 Sri Lankans on 4th April 2024 following the request of the government of Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankan embassy officials in Bangkok received them on 11th April 2024 at the MAE Slot Border Gate in Thailand. Subsequently, they were brought to Bangkok and provided accommodation until the repatriation was arranged with the assistance of the International Organization for Migration. The Consular Affairs Division of the Ministry coordinated the repatriation process in collaboration with the relevant stakeholders, and Director General Consular Affairs of the Foreign Ministry, ASK Senaviratna, received the 8 Sri Lankans at the BIA. The 8 Sri Lankans expressed their deep appreciation to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of its President's effort in ensuring their safety return to Sri Lanka.
And meanwhile, the final rites of the former Deputy Minister and Parliamentarian late Palitha Thevaraperuma is scheduled to be held tomorrow evening at his private land at Karampethara in Mathugama. A funeral committee has been appointed to manage its final rites under the guidance of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The committee is co-headed by the Chairman of the United National Party, Parliamentarian Vajirabe Wardana, and UNP General Secretary Palitharange Bandara. Remains of late Palitha Thevaraperuma were brought to his residence the area in Mathugama last night. The body was brought there from a private funeral parlour in Kaluthara to his native area in a special motorcade. Our correspondent says that large crowds including political leaders and distinguished guests are arriving at his residence to pay their last respect to the late leader.
In the meantime, the remains of the founder of the Sarvodaya movement, Dr. A.T. Ariyaratnas, are now laying at the Rawatavatta Sarvodaya headquarters in Moratuwa. A large number of people arrived in the Sarvodaya headquarters today to pay last respects to the late leader. He was 92 years at the time of his demise. His remains were brought to the Sarvodaya headquarters yesterday. Speaker Mahinda Yapa, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, President's senior advisor Sagala Ratnayaka and many other ministers and parliamentarians paid their last respects to him. Final rites will be conducted at the Independence Square in Columbo on Saturday under the full state honour.
Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that late Mr. Ariyaratnas had rendered a noble and selfless service to the Sri Lankan society in his lifetime. Therefore, the government will give him the highest respect on behalf of the people. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa said that he was a people-friendly leader and once a teacher for him. Speaker Mahinda Abebewardena said that his demise is an irreparable loss to the country. There will be no such leader for the country for a long time in future. Parliamentarian Sarath Fonseca said that late founder of the Sarvodaya movement used to help to the war heroes and family members. Parliamentarian Patali Champika Ranawaka said that his Shramadana campaign started from Maradana area has spearheaded through the island at present. No socialist or revolutionary party has been able to achieve a silent revolution.
Now, the chairman of the United National Party, parliamentarian Wachira Abewardena, says that President Ranil Wickremesinghe have been commendable by the entire world for his efforts to normalize Sri Lanka's collapsed economy within a very short period. At a press briefing held in Sirikota party headquarters, he said that the other political parties, including the JVP, are also responsible for the economic collapse in Sri Lanka.
Chairman of the United National Party, parliamentarian Wachira Abewardena, said that Bloomberg Index has stated that President Ranil Wickremesinghe has been able to appreciate Sri Lanka rupee in significant manner within a very short period. According to the IMF, Sri Lanka has been able to ease the economic pressure in Sri Lanka under the rule of President Wickremesinghe. People of the country has been able to join the benefits of this move. The JVP has also helped some political parties rule the country and obtain foreign debts. They also have enjoyed ministerial portfolios for some time. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has to pay back the loans taken by the previous government with the blessing of the JVP.
උදාහරණයක් හැටියට එතුමන්ලා ඇමතිකම් කරන කාලය තුල ලෝකෙන් ලබාගත් වැරදි සහගත ණය ප්‍රමාණයන් ගෙවමින් තිබෙනවා. ආර්ථික දර්ශනයක් නොමැතිව පොහොර නිකන් දෙන්නම් කියලා අප්පුඩි ගහලා ආණ්ඩු පිහිටවපු ආණ්ඩුවල ඇමතිකම් අරගෙන ඒ ඇමතිකම් වල ගත්ත ණයත් රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ ජනාධිපතිතුමා ගෙවමින් ඉන්නේ.
Beliat electoral organizer of the Samiki Janabalawege, Dr. Ravin Praveen Athabattus, today obtained UNP membership from the party chairman Wachira Abewardena.
Today is the 18th day of the Sundara Nuwareliya Seetala Vasantaya. Various entertainment programs have been organized in many parts of Nuwareliya for those who visit the city during the festive season.
Sundara Nuwareliya Salalihini Vasantaya Spring Fest 2024 Sri Lanka Insurance Life Samaga.
Under the Sundara Nuwareliya Salalihini Vasantaya Spring Fest 2024 with Sri Lanka Insurance Life, all are looking forward for the Gregory Mud Challenge tournament. All arrangements have been finalized for the four-wheel off-road challenge. This event will be held tomorrow and day after with a number of significant races. Under two categories, 3 tournaments are scheduled to be held. These events will provide visitors suspense, fear, curiosity and entertainment. The national television is ready to bring these events to your living room tomorrow and day after.
The Columbo Municipal Council and Urban Development Authority says that it has been illegal construction of trade stalls in Petta. They expressed these remarks at a press briefing held today. Chief Coordinating Officer of the City Beautification Project, Engineer Kumudulal Bogahavatta, said that some organizers group has constructed these trade stalls and given to some businessmen on lease on daily or monthly basis. Deputy Director General of the Urban Development Authority, EAAC Priyashanta, said that if these groups are allowed to continue this record, there is no use of Columbo Municipal Council and the Urban Development Authority. People must realize the situation. These illegal constructions lead to restrict people's freedom, and the authorities cannot work according to a plan because of these organized gangs. And meanwhile, the Dialog Asiata Holdings has entered into a joint agreement with the Bharti Airtel company.
Telecommunications Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka has given approval for this integration considering the enhancement of telecommunications sector in the island. Dialog Asiata PLC, Asiata Berhad Group and Bharti Airtel Company signed the agreement today to carry out joint operations of telecommunication services in Sri Lanka. Under this agreement, entire shares of the Bharati Airtel company is acquired by the Dialog Holdings. With the integration, the company will be able to provide enhanced facilities for consumers. Through this agreement, express broadband connections, calls and additional service facilities will be developed and operational efficiency will be enhanced with less expenditure.
The application deadline for the Avruddha Kumariya Open Competition of the Vasat Syria 2024 celebration of the Sinhala and Tamil New Year, which is being organized by the Welfare Society of the Presidential Secretariat along with other ministries, had been extended until the 23rd of April 2024. The event will be held on Saturday, the 27th of April 2024 at Shangri-La Green, Golfways, Colombo. The President's Media Division stated that the relevant application of this competition can be downloaded through the website www.pmd.gov.lk. The contestants must submit a recent colored photograph taken within the last 3 months along with their name, age, height, address and phone number. All applicants must be unmarried individuals aged between 18 to 30 years. Completed applications should be submitted via WhatsApp at 077-155-7146 before 3 p.m. on 23rd of April 2024. The competitions have been divided into 3 sections, namely State Section, Open Section and Guest Section, and feature a total of 17 competitions for both men and women. These competitions are open to the staff members of the ministries and government institutions, their family members, friends and children. In the public sector competitions, it is mandatory to present the identity card issued by the relevant government institution.
Japanese ambassador in Sri Lanka, Musukisho Hideaki, met Minister Tiran Alas at the Ministry of Public Security. The Japanese ambassador said that Japan commenced the Yukti operation implemented by Sri Lanka police and eliminate drug menace and to bring down crimes. They also discussed the matters relating to passport and issuing visa. The ambassador also expressed his satisfaction towards the National Reconciliation Program of the government. At this discussion, Minister Alas pointed out the success and importance of establishment of community police committees in Sri Lanka. We move in for a short commercial break and we'll be back with international news. Do stay with us.
உங்களுக்கு ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் வந்திருக்கே.
பரவாயில்ல சார், பிள்ளைகள் தானே. டீச்சரும் கொள்ளுவீங்களா?
உன்னதமான இலக்குகளை மனதில் கொண்டு நீங்கள் எடுக்கும் சரியான முடிவுகள் உங்களையும் நாட்டையும் பெருமையடைய செய்யும். நாங்கள் உங்கள் பெருமையின் அங்கமான மக்கள் வங்கி, தேசத்தின் பெருமை.
Welcome back with international stories and the Indian story. The world's biggest election begins in India on Friday with around 970 million registered voters eligible to cast their vote in Bamut 7-phase poll starting from tomorrow. Voters elect 543 members for the Lok Sabha, India's lower house of parliament. The election will last for 6 weeks and the contest involves 6 national parties, 57 state parties and 2,597 smaller parties which are allowed on the ballot but do not meet the terms to be officially recognized by the National Election Commission. However, the main race will be between India's 2 biggest political parties, the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party and the opposition Indian National Congress. According to the survey and opinion polls, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party are widely expected to come out on top in the 2024 election. Now with the Bharatiya Janata Party in power for a decade with the prospect of securing 5 more years.
Dubai International Airport, one of the world's busiest aviation hubs, remained disarray today after unprecedented heavy rains that led to airlines having to negotiate flood in runways. While check-ins from Emirates and Fly Dubai, the airport's 2 main operations, had reopened, the airport warned that its Terminal 3 were experiencing high volumes of travellers as airlines tried to handle the backlog from cancellations and delays. Storms swept through the United Arab Emirates and surrounding countries on Tuesday, dumping 250 millimeters of precipitation in fewer than 24 hours in some areas.
Moving to Israel, health workers have recovered at least 30 bodies buried in front of Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza city, according to the enclave's government media office. At least 11 people, including 5 children, have been killed in the latest Israeli strikes on Rafah, the southern Gaza city, where 1.5 million displaced Palestinians fear an imminent ground offensive. Such a decision to grant full membership would be an important pillar to reach peace, because the Israeli-Palestinian conflict now goes beyond the border of the Palestine and Israel and impacts other regions in the Middle East and the world. Ziad Abi Amor, the Palestinian representative to the United Nations, stated, granting Palestinians a will pave the way for true peace based on justice.
More than 11,000 people have been set to evacuate, and air travel in the regions has been disrupted after a volcano in northern Indonesia erupted multiple times. Mount Ruang, located in the North Sulawesi province, first erupted at 9:45 p.m. on Tuesday, sending billowing clouds of smoke and ash high into the sky. After 4 more eruptions yesterday, Indonesia's volcanology agency raised the alert level for 725 meters high mountain to 4, the highest on the scale. They also widened the evacuation zone round the crater from 4 kilometers to 6 kilometers.
A deadly heat wave in West Africa and the Sahel was impossible without human-induced climate change, scientist informs. Temperatures soared above 48 Celsius in Mal last month, with one hospital linked hundreds of deaths to the extreme heat. Researchers stated that human activities like burning fossil fuels made temperature up to 1.4 Celsius hotter than normal. A separate study on drought in southern Africa said El Nino was to blame rather than climate change. A number of countries in the Sahel region and across West Africa were hit by a strong heat wave that struck at the end of March and lasted into early April.
Prima Kottumi, hot and spicy Nava Vasarak Veva.
And taking a look at your sports news, President Ranil Wickremesinghe congratulated the captain of Sri Lanka women's cricket team, Ariyaratnas, over a telephone for her extraordinary talent shown in the third ODI match against South Africa.
Sri Lanka women's cricket team was able to set a record in winning a match, chasing the highest in the history of women's ODI. In the match played in South Africa, batting first, South Africa scored 301 runs for the loss of 5 wickets in their 50 overs. Captain Lovra Bolward scored 184 runs not out. Kavisha Dilhavri claimed 2 wickets. In reply, Sri Lanka women's team passed the victory target of 4 wickets in 44.3 overs, playing a superb leadership inning. Ariyaratnas scored 195 runs not out, facing 139 deliveries. She hit 26 sixes and 5 sixes in this inning. This is her 9th ODI century, and this is the 3rd highest runs of a women's international cricket history. Nilakshi Silva scored 50 runs not out. This is the first time in women's cricket history a team has won a match chasing a target over 300 runs. Sri Lanka has levelled the 3-match ODI series 1-1.
She's been on the field the entire match. She bowled well, but she has batted exquisitely. It's been all power. There's tactics for
Calling her, the President Ranil Wickremesinghe had wished her and the courage and strength to show more talents at the international level. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka cricket has taken measures to grant a special cash prize to the Sri Lanka women's cricket team to appreciate the victory.
She hits it on the bank. What a win for Sri Lanka. What a performance by Ariyaratnas.
On your sports news, it's the badminton player Wickremesinghe. He was able to qualify for Paris Olympics this year. This is the first Sri Lankan player who is qualified for Paris Olympics. Wickremesinghe participated in many badminton tournaments throughout the world during the past few months in order to gain the required Olympic standards. He is the 32nd player directly qualified for Paris Olympics. This 20-year-old player is the youngest player in Sri Lanka who qualified for Olympics. He is the first Sri Lankan badminton player who achieved the Olympic standards after 12 years after Ariyaratnas in 2012. A media briefing was held at the Ministry of Sports today to officially inform that Wickremesinghe has qualified for Paris Olympics. Director General of Sports Professor Shamal Fernando and officials of the Sri Lanka Badminton Association were present at this meeting. Badminton player Wickremesinghe said that his target is to bring an Olympic medal to Sri Lanka. He said that he is confident to achieve this target. Father and trainer of Wickremesinghe said that he has planned to train Veran in 2021. At this time, he was the 887th position in world rankings, and now he is at the 72nd position. Director General of Sports Professor Shamal Fernando said that this is a very happy day for Sri Lankan badminton fans, as the Sri Lankan player has properly qualified to represent Sri Lanka in Olympics.
Creamer Kottumi, hot and spicy නව වසරක් වේවා.
And with that, we conclude tonight's news on Rupavahini. Do join us tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.
Good night.